Hi, this is Dallas Native Voice coming to you today with a new tool that we just put on our website. Have you ever questioned as a first-time home buyer, should we continue renting or is this a good time to buy? The age-old question. Well, the New York Times came out with this calculator that helps answer that very question, and I put it on my website for everyone to make use of. What I love about this interactive tool is that you can slide or type exact figures into place so that you can come out with a fairly accurate determination of whether you stay where you are and continue to rent, or is it a good time to buy. I'm going to give you some of the numbers that you need to plug in for the DFW area specifically. So, mortgage details. Mortgage rate of 4% would get you close to what the current market rate is. Yes, it's a little bit lower than 4%, but it would cover you if it went a little below, a little above. It would kind of cover you. And that your interest rate would be about 4%. Be aware that rates change daily. Your down payment varies with each buyer. How much have you saved to put down? Now, that starts the question right there. If you've saved no money to put down, then we've already answered the question. This is not a good time for you to buy. But it lets you know you need to start saving money so that you can buy at a specific date that you all decide to use. So using an FHA loan, you can put down as little as 3.5%. A conventional loan, you can put down as little as 5% if your credit's really good. 10%, 20% is even better. You have more invested in the home. That's up to each specific person and buyer, and you'll need to determine that with the help of a lender, with what your savings are. All of those things factor in. The length of the mortgage, typically 30 years. There's a 15-year note, which is really great, but it certainly makes your payment go up, and that's hard for a lot of first-time home buyers. So a 30-year note makes your payment as low as it can possibly be, and here's the best advice. Throw some extra money each month at your payment for principal only, and it will start to decrease what you owe. It'll add equity much faster, thereby making a 30-year note somewhere into about a 20-year note just by adding one extra payment a year. That doesn't seem like much, does it? So, what does the future hold? Refers to appreciation year over year. This has historically been in the Dallas area about 6%. So again, that's an arbitrary number, but it would get you down the road. Rent growth rate, 10% plus or minus, refers to the increase in rents year over year. Again, it's an arbitrary number, but in Dallas and the Dallas surrounding area, we've seen rents going up about 10% each year. So investment rate of return is a negative 1%. That refers to interest earned on savings. Well, right now, if you're in a standard savings account, you're not even earning 1% right now. It's just awful. So if you have your money, say in a mutual fund or a retirement account, you're earning far more interest right now. But assuming your money is in a standard bank savings account, your earnings are a negative 1%. Kind of sad to think you're saving money and not earning any money on it, but that's another conversation for another day. Inflation rate, we're using a 1.9%. Taxes. Taxes in the Dallas-Fort Worth area range from 2.2% to 2.8% of property value. So let's just assume you buy a $200,000 house. Assume that the taxing authority is going to raise your tax rate to whatever you paid for. So let's assume the worst and hope for the best. So using 2.2 to 2.8% of whatever the home value that you're buying is a good way to look at that. Marginal income tax rate is 20%. This varies based on your annual income. So you would need to know what your income tax rate is, but 20% is a very fair number to use, especially for my first-time home buyers. Closing cost, again, varies, but 4.5% to 5%, not including prepaids, insurance, or taxes, some of which is prorated and comes out as a credit from the seller. So that one's a little bit harder to factor in, but if you use a 4.5 to 5% number there, you will get where you need to go. Maintenance and fees, we used a 1% plus or minus. This varies with each house, taking into consideration its current condition and age. So if you buy a property that was originally owned, lovingly cared for, we like to say, the house is going to need more than a home that you bought that's maybe newer or has been completely renovated, thereby need less maintenance over the next several years. Homeowners insurance in Texas, we use a 0.5 to 0.7%. Our taxes are our insurance is fairly high here due to our weather and conditions and things that have happened around our city. Monthly utilities, a landlord would cover most of those, so that would be zero for most tenants because you pay your own utilities. Landlords don't pay your utilities. So that kind of washes whether you're renting or whether you're buying. Utilities are just a cost of being in a home or an apartment. Monthly common fees refers to homeowner association fees that a landlord would pay. Additional renting costs such as a security deposit, usually 1 month rent. Broker fees, which should be zero. Renter's insurance, 2 to 3% of the monthly rent annually. Using an example of a rental rate of $1,500 a month, that equals a home purchase price of $200,000. Staying in the home for 5 years with 10% down on a 30-year mortgage of 4% interest. What has not been taken into account is the tax benefit that a buyer receives from owning their own home. Taxes and interest can be deducted from your federal income tax return. So the question is, if you can rent a similar home for less than the calculated rate in the tool per month, then renting is better. I feel confident knowing the rental rates in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that you will find home ownership to eventually be the answer. And we're here to help you when that comes about. So you can go to my website at dallasnative.com and look into this tool under calculator, and you can mess with it and see what you all come up with. I'll look forward to hearing some of your comments about how you think the tool works. And as always, you can find us anywhere you are. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We show up where you guys do. Have a great day.